Hey, let's talk about what's going on in the interview space and how our clients can be more effective in interviewing and preparing for their interviews. Now, I got to say that we're going to look at a couple of tools for preparing for interviews. And I've had people kind of already saying, oh, they aren't as good as coaches, but that's not what we're talking about. So don't worry, we're not going to talk about how AI is replacing coaches. We are going to talk about how you could use these AI tools to improve your coaching, especially when you're working with people who are going to be interviewing virtually. So let's talk about that. As you know, we're always here talking about the now, the new, and the next in careers. And we always talk about what's going on in the trends, Trend Tuesday. And we're seeing that virtual interviews are sticking around. I'd love to hear in the chat if you want to drop me a note. Are your clients still having, for the most part, virtual interviews, especially for the introduction part of their interviews? And then I'd love to hear if they're still seeing the one-way recorded video interviews that became so popular during the pandemic. They were around before then, and I'm hearing that they're still sticking around. But are we seeing those? Let me know in the chat. Yes, definitely AI here to help. Thank you, Ayana. Good to see you. Yay. Hi, Dan. Good to see you too. Good to see you. Thank you all for your patience. We're going to talk about why my camera wasn't working and I was late today because of one of the systems we're going to show today. Let me know what you think, what types of interviews you're seeing your clients having. I'd love to hear if they're still having video interviews and if you're still seeing some of those one-way recorded interviews being used as well. A lot of different systems do those types of interviews, like HireVue and Simply Hire. A lot of them use that one-way recorded interview, and that we used to be seeing a lot of. So good to have you all here today. Excited to see you and talk about what we're going to do with these new systems. So here's the thing that I'm seeing happening with AI in our coaching. First is that we have to set the strategy underneath. And AI can help us set that strategy, not these tools specifically, perhaps, but it can help us set that strategy, but it can't do it all for us. And when we go to do interviewing, what that strategy means. Right? We're going to look at the job description. We're going to do our research. We're going to figure out what are the main skill sets they're looking for. And then we're going to look at some of those commonly asked questions. And we're going to have our clients boil it down to, these are the most important things for us to prepare for. The skill sets we need to connect with, the stories that we need to have ready to tell. It's not like they could ask us any question in the world. Yes, they could, but we can guess what they're going to ask us based on these skill sets and the job descriptions that we're looking at. Now, AI can help you with that process. You can use OpenAI tool like ChatGPT. You could probably use Bing search to ask for common interview questions in this field, common interview questions for the job title and the industry. The more specific you get, the better outcomes you might get back. Now, what I like about using either Bing search, which is free, or the ChatGPT 4 is that you can ask it for the resources, for the links that it's pulling that data from, if you're asking a specific enough question. If you're doing it in Bing search, it will do it for you kind of automatically. Be happy to do a little show and tell of that. If you're interested, just drop me a note in the chat. If you want to go to Bing search, do that and see what it looks like. Happy to do that. But the big picture idea is that you're going to research what are the common interview questions, and you're going to research the skill sets that are required, which you can do just by getting job descriptions or by asking a tool to do what are the top job qualities, what are the top job requirements and qualities that this job is looking for. Yes, please do a demo. Okay, so I really like Bing search for a lot of these tasks. One, because it's free, you don't have to set up an account like you do in ChatGPT. And unlike ChatGPT 4, which is pulling from the latest internet, it's free. So I'm using this more and more, which I'm sure is Microsoft's like little dream here, right? Is that we start using this more and more to go out and be able to share these things. Let me see. There we go. Okay. So you can see my Bing thing here, and I can do a search. It just updated. So I can do a search, and I can search for, I'm going to go to an old search really quick. So what you get when you go to the search now is that it has this little chat icon here. And this chat icon works kind of like ChatGPT 3.5, but it's a little bit slower. So I can go into the chat here and I could ask, what are the top 10 interview questions for a marketing manager in the industrial engines industry? I don't know. We'll see what it tells me, right? It's a little bit slower. It's not as fast as ChatGPT, but you'll see really quick what I like about it is that will give you the links to the places that it's pulling from. Usually, we'll see if since I'm doing this live, it doesn't do it for me. But usually what it will do is it will also give you, yeah. So I love this because it gives us like here's the starting place, here's maybe the most common things, but then here are the other resources that you can click over to and see more. It's like, I can click those little resource buttons at the very bottom in blue and I can see more. Yeah, you could specify the company. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Um, and so you because it's not Google, I love that, I didn't know that. Bring that up here, Ayana, that's awesome, because it's not Google. So this is a new feature, I don't know, maybe the last couple of months, and it seems to be available to anyone using the Microsoft Edge browser, and all you have to do is make sure you select that little chat up there once you get a search started, and then you could put it in there. And you can see what that oh, and it's switching over to something else there. So you can see what the results are there. I love that part of it, especially if you're using it to do any kind of research or whatever. Just the fact that you can quickly grab those research links is awesome. I haven't tried it yet, but people have told me that you can ask ChatGPT to give you the resources that it's pulled from. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't because it's generating text. But it's a good opportunity. So the more specific you get there, you can use questions, you can use companies. Definitely want to get specific. This isn't the end all be all, right? It's just a place to start, but you can now prepare answers to those questions as you're sitting down and thinking about what you want to do. The other part that ChatGPT will not do for you, obviously, is tell you what's your unique thing. And this is really important for us to understand is that yes, ChatGPT could tell you what are the most important qualities for this job. It might even be able to pull important qualities out of your resume that you should highlight for the job, but it can't tell you or your client what is that special sauce that you bring. So I talk a lot about someone in my household who's interviewing for jobs a while ago and thinking about how their previous work history, which was very broad, brought value to a company that was used to hiring people that had been very specific. So, big company, everybody's really specific. And my husband had been very broad. And it took a couple of months, it took like a half a dozen interviews to really understand that this was something we needed to key in on. We needed to really be able to focus this difference and share how it was of value. Because when you're interviewing against all these other candidates, you've got to figure out how your difference adds value. ChatGPT can't do that for you, right? It can help you polish that answer once you figure it out. It can help you do a lot of other things. But that strategy piece, that is where a coach comes in and helps the client figure out what they're really going to bring to the picture, what they're going to use as the theme throughout all their stories, how they're going to highlight that in the answers that they give. So, yes, we can use these AI tools to analyze our answers, to tell us what questions to prepare for, to do a lot of these awesome things, but they can't do the strategy. They can't tell you what your difference is. They can't tell you how it adds value, and they can't connect the dots all the way for you, but they can help you connect the dots, which is awesome. Yes, good to see you, Dan. Thank you. And Rosalind, glad to hear that you're doing well. Okay, so what are these tools that we can use? Not too surprisingly, for those of you that play in this space, there is a tool on LinkedIn that we can use under the Jobs tab. So I click up here on the Jobs tab, and then under Interview Prep over here on the left. So I was trying out this new feature and it kept freezing my computer. Oh, which is LinkedIn to a T, isn't it? So it gives you all of these common questions that you can practice for. Again, we don't have time to practice 26 questions, so do your research, boil it down, what might be the most common for your industry or et cetera. This is where a coach can help. And then it also gives you these categories where you can choose from for certain jobs. And so, I could go to admin assistant, it'll give me the questions there, and I can click on those questions. It'll give me a short interview, and then it tells me I can practice and get feedback. So if any of you use this feature with a client, drop me a note in the chat. If you've used this feature with a client, we're going in and using these commonly asked questions. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here, where you're going in and using these commonly asked questions with your clients. It's really pretty cool. I mean, it's not extensive list of categories, but there's quite a few there, mostly for professional roles, mid-level type of roles there that you see in the categories. I'm going to go back to these common questions. And I tried this. So I created an answer, and I just wrote an answer because the video thing kept giving me an error, which is annoying. I'll keep trying it, or if you've used it with a client and you've done a video, let me know. So I can go in here. Now, I'm not going to click on my answer because every time I do that, it freezes my computer. I'm not sure if it just takes, like, a really long time to get AI feedback or if that is just a thing that they promote, but they really don't offer you. I was excited to see what type of AI feedback it would give me, and unfortunately, it's a nothing. So, ooh, I'll go back. How did I get there? I just went to jobs up here at the top, little briefcase, jobs, little briefcase, and then over here on interview prep on the left. So hopefully you're all seeing that. I don't believe it's a premium feature. Usually those are pretty good at telling you it's a premium feature. So it's just jobs. And then on the left there, the little interview icon. Let me know if you're able to find that. Awesome. Thanks for joining me. Yay. Maine Career Development Association. Happy to see you. And excellent. People with premium get example answers, others don't. That's possible. I didn't get any example answers when I was doing this. Oh, and LinkedIn is frozen again. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to come back out here and see if I can get it to come back. And you can see that it is mad. And it was doing this even before I went live. And it got in the way of my microphone and my thing. And yeah. So you can click on the Your Answers, and then before on the screen, there was a little arrow. And when you click on that arrow, it gives you the opportunity to send that answer to one of your LinkedIn connections, which, if I'm connected to a coaching client, would be cool because they could come in here, write their answers, or perhaps video them, and then send their answer to me as their coach, and then perhaps get some AI feedback. I'm still a little bit unsure of if that actually works. It says here, AI powered feedback, but it doesn't actually do it. It just freezes every single time, which is really nice. So if you've used it with a client, let me know. If you try it out with a client, let us know how it goes. And if you get that feature to work, I was excited about it. But it doesn't seem to. I even restarted my computer, gave LinkedIn access to all of my microphone and video and all of that, and it still didn't work. Then I typed an answer in there. They only give you 2,000 characters for a typed answer, which is maybe a little bit on the short side. I like to keep my interview answers, 90 seconds to 2 minutes ish. 2,000 characters might be a little bit shorter than that, but the 2,000 characters, you can put it in the answer field as a written answer, and we'll see if I ever get AI feedback back on it or not. But that is one tool that's out there, even without the feedback, right? You've got the questions that your clients can access. It's got all those different categories. So it just provides that way to get in there and try that out and see what they say are the top questions. It's good to have another way to look at that. So the other free tool that I wanted to share with you today is called Udly. And you probably have seen this because Udly's been making an awesome opportunity or they've been taking an awesome opportunity to get their word out there. They're being used by big companies, by universities. And they're not just interview prep, it's actually communications prep, um, because it gives you feedback that you can see here on the screen. So when our Arun and I went through this a few weeks ago, he just took a really short video of himself so that he could show me what it did. Now, this is free. You could go out there and open a account on Udly and start trying it out for yourself and your clients. But what I love about it is that it gives you those filler words. So how they tells you how many filler words you had. It also looks for non-inclusiveness. So he very intentionally said guys when he was giving his answer so that it would come up and show that gender inclusiveness in the language. It probably would even catch other things that you or your clients might have in there. It looks at words, it looks at keywords, um, and then it does look at delivery. So eye contact, are you making eye contact or not? It's a really cool system. Let me pull it up here and show it to you if I can. Yes, Udly is great for presentations. Okay, so here's the analytics. So Varun, sorry I said Arun, but Varun was showing it to me, and you can go in there, just highlight, Udly.ai. Udly.ai is the website, and you can go in and get. First, I'll check the analytics for the word choice, so you can see analytics word choice. It looks at keywords that you're using. It looks at any weak words that you're using, and then it also looks at those filler words. And then as I was saying, it does some non-inclusiveness, and I'm not sure everything that it would catch here, but as I mentioned, he said guys, and it caught that as something for him to pay attention to. So if anyone else is using this, other ways that you're Udily who? Udily who? Oh, Dan, you're silly. Okay, so we think about that tool as one where, again, it's not going to replace the coach because it's not telling you, are you hitting the right content? Are you on brand? It's just an assistant. And what I love about this too in the delivery is your eye contact. So if you do struggle with that or you work with clients that struggle with that, it can tell them very concretely how good of eye contact they're making. And it can tell you, are you centered with the camera or not? It can tell you, are you smiling? Are you engaging with the audience that way? Pacing, your pace was too fast. We were just going through this quickly, so that's not surprising. And then pausing, are you taking those pauses? These are things that, yes, I as a coach could give feedback on, but not as well as the tech can, honestly, right? If I'm listening for the filler words, if someone says a lot of them, I might catch them, but I'm not going to catch every little one. And it's okay that they have a few, right? But this will tell them what those are and when they say them. It can give that eye contact feedback. It captures smiles better than I can as a human coach. So, what I'm seeing coaches do with a system like this is that they're incorporating it into their process. And this is the best of both worlds. It's not replacing the coach, it's really the best of both worlds that now I can have my client get the content piece, the brand piece, the big picture, what's coming through piece for me. They can go and do practice with Udly on their own, and then you can actually go back and forth in the Udly system. I can give them comments on their content. Udly will tell you better ways to phrase your content. So if I'm practicing and I've got my tell me about yourself answer, and I give that while I'm recording in Udly, Udly will actually recommend different ways I might phrase it to be more effective, which is awesome because now it's my voice, a little bit of a tweak. I can decide if I want to accept that tweak or not. And then as a coach, I can say, well, I understood maybe why Udly said that. And however, maybe there's a specific reason we want to use this word or that word, or make it work for you in the way that you need it to work for you. And so you've got that opportunity to improve over iterations instead of just the one mock interview that we might be able to do as a coach. I would see what I usually do when I'm doing interview coaching is the very least 2 sessions. The first session is that strategy piece. What are we really trying to get across? What are they afraid of? What are they going to work on? What are the top questions they want to have answers for? Then they could do Udemy practice before our first mock interview. Now they're getting some feedback, they're getting some prep. And when they come into the mock interview, I'm going to be able to take that to the next level and take it deeper. And then they can go and do some more Udemy practice after that mock interview if they want to as well. The other thing I'd recommend in the flow of our coaching practice is that if someone is really nervous, we have them start by doing an audio only practice first. And they could do that, in any audio system. They could put it through a system that would give them feedback on it, like ChatGPT or whatever, and then get into the video piece of it. And the reason I recommend that is that when we get into video, we tend to stop paying attention to what we're saying and we pay attention to the video and how do I look and all of those things. If we focus on the words first and get the words down first, then we can add on that next level of nervousness for most people after we get that down first. So I would have the client practice via audio, listen, get audio feedback however they can, and then move into doing some video prep, video mock interviewing, and then do the mock interview with me. That way, when they get to that mock interview with me, it's not their first time. We're not giving base level feedback. We're doing it at that next level. We're able to really give them some more in-depth, intricate feedback when they come in for that mock interview. And I do have a mock interview scoring sheet that we put together for our certified interview coach class. And if you're interested in that, drop me a note. I'll send it to you and hopefully it can be helpful for you. It's just a mock interview scoring sheet, the types of things that you could be looking for. I'd recommend you give it to clients ahead of time so that they know what you're looking for and they can prepare for that as well. And then you have that sheet you can give them feedback on. It goes a little deeper than just their answers and the feedback that we might already be giving. So we're going to start our certified interview and compensation negotiation coach class tomorrow. It's the second time we've run this class. It launched last fall and we had such a great time and going in and getting deeper on the preparation process, the research process, and then of course the compensation negotiation. And we call it compensation negotiation because there's so much more than salary to look at when we're talking about negotiating a job offer. And we really dug into that and talked about what it looked like. We already have a nice group signed up for this that have HR backgrounds, coaching backgrounds, some university folks coming in to join us as well. So it's not just the information that you get from me, it's the richness that you get from the interaction with the group and what they're learning and what they're bringing to the group. You can watch the class self-paced as well and see the interaction of the course of the people. We record every session and put that up for people to watch later as well. So if you have interest in that or questions about it, let me know. And if you want that mock interview sheet, just drop me a note here in the chat or send me a message on whatever platform you're watching this on, and I'd be happy to send that to you. So I hope you'll go out and try Udemy. Tell Varun that we sent you, and if you set up an account, I know that you'll get a lot of value out of it. And if you try the LinkedIn feature and have success with it more than I did in the last few days, let me know and I'll keep trying it out and I'll bring it back if I am able to get that AI feedback that it promises so that I can share that with you. And I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. We'll talk about interview trends and AI trends probably one more time, because next Wednesday, we have a session where we're going to be talking more in depth about using AI in your coaching and how you can go through and do that as part of your process, not to replace you as the coach, but really enhance your ability as a coach and the outcomes that your clients are getting. So I'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, and if not, tomorrow or the next Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday or next Tuesday for Trend Tuesdays. Thank you.